Hello, KVOI listeners. This is Pastor John McLean with the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Hello, welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Pep Inc., right? And what I say about the Pep Inc., I was thinking about it on the way in here. I think for those who don't know about Pep Inc., in my humble opinion, one of the greatest nonprofits in the world, on record. So, and I say that to say all the stuff that we'll say for the next 30 minutes, because we have them on as our guests today. We'll be talking to them, and we'll be talking to Mad, Southern Arizona, so it'll be cool. But I'm Pastor John McLean, here with Mr. Andreas Ruiz, the most motivational coach that ever has stepped foot onto this planet. If you have not got the opportunity to have him in your life to motivate you, I'm sorry for you, because he's got two, prodigal children here in the studio with him, because I want to thank one of our guests, Amy, could attest for it, that if she didn't have this man in her life would be very different. So
that's a lot to say. Thank you, man.
I don't know. I'm just being honest. That's just a man being honest.
Thank
you.
But yeah,
this is the Common Good Radio Show, and me and that man are your hosts. And this would not be the Common Good Radio Show if I did not start it off giving grace to a very loving God that blesses us so very much. I was talking to our cameraman, photography by Jonathan Arlia, that's here in studio before the show, and I was just telling him about every morning, part of my wake-up ritual is I go on a walk, and I thank God for all the blessings that He puts in my life, because there's so many. I got a house, I got cars, I got beautiful kids, I got an amazing wife, I got good breath. I get to do a radio show every Friday. God has blessed me so very much. So we're going to start it off this week, as we do every week, with the Lord's Prayer, and it goes a little something like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So, awesome. I'm glad we got that knocked out. And I say it every week, but I really mean it. That's one of my favorite parts. And it's reminded to me why it's so important to me, not only my relationship with God, but just being a pastor and what that means to me. Because I was playing golf with my dad this past week. It's just for fun. My dad's like, hey, I bet you $1 that I'll hit it farther. And just immediately, without even thinking, I was just like, no, sorry, Dad, I don't bet. It's just not something I do. And my dad didn't think anything of it. We just kept it moving. But just kind of reflecting on it, my dad's just like, you know what, son, I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of the decisions you made. I'm proud you stick to your convictions about stuff. My dad's really never told me stuff like that. So
nice.
that's that's super cool that not only that I have that opportunity, but we all have that. We all have the opportunity to kind of stick to our convictions and make those around us proud of us. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So speaking of people sticking to their convictions and making people proud of them, certainly I'm proud to call Miss Amy Bass my friend for sure, and all the great work that Pep Inc. does. And Amy brought in another new friend, and Joe Sullivan today with Mothers Against Drunk Driving Southern Arizona. So thank you, Joe, for joining our friend group.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so a little bit closer. Yeah. So I guess just right out the jump, it's funny. I don't know if there's too many people that don't know who Matt is, but for those people who don't know who Matt is, explain to them.
Yeah, so my name's Joe Sullivan. I'm the manager of victim services with MAD here in Arizona. Part of what my role consists of is primarily providing services to victims of impaired driving crashes, which can look a lot of different ways. Oftentimes it can be someone who's lost a loved one in an impaired driving crash. Other times it's someone who's been injured in a crash. And we also have people who have had their property damaged by an impaired driver. So
Mm.
oftentimes we're going to court with these victims, assisting them through that process, or just providing emotional support however they need it.
Mm-hmm. And tell us about your experience and your position and your role within MAD.
Yeah, so as the victim services manager, since I've gotten started, I spend probably over 50% of my time in court sitting next to victims during court proceedings. Unfortunately, that process is already a very long process, which a typical DUI homicide case can take 2 years to adjudicate.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the pandemic's probably added at least another year on average
Yeah,
to that.
I could imagine.
So in addition to that, we go out into the community and provide education to both teens and parents about underage drinking and making safe choices, especially around alcohol. And we also provide education to people who have been convicted of a DUI in Arizona. And we do that through a restorative justice program called a Victim Impact Panel.
Okay, man, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And Amy, like I know that you know you've been involved with MAD, and how long how long has the CPC has been working with MAD? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So really glad to be here and be
Yeah.
here with Joe, one of our longtime partners.
Mhm.
The Community Prevention Coalition of Pima County has been around for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And MAD was our first next door neighbor,
Okay.
by no
Mm.
mistake.
Mhm.
Because our first grant was on underage drinking prevention.
Mhm.
And who better could you have as a neighbor than MAD?
Yeah.
And, we partnered on things like the Walk Like MAD event and just helping to get the information out. The thing that really struck me was hearing from one of the victim advocates, and they brought one of the victims to one of our community meetings, and none of us were prepared for it. This woman spoke, she told her story, and of course she cried. She had lost her pre-teenage child,
Mhm.
and at the time I had a pre-teenage child.
Mm.
And I mean, I was the director, right? And I'm sitting in this room of all these people and I was bawling. I
Mm.
could not stop. It
Mm.
just, tears flowing out of me, because when you hear somebody's story and you realize, I mean, we all hear statistics, but
Mm.
when you hear somebody's story and
Mm.
it's personalized right in front of you, and I imagine that the people that work at MAD, I mean, you guys are saints, you must have some vicarious traumatization. You're absorbing somebody else's pain, but you
Mhm.
know, and John, you know, if it's a burden shared, it's it's reduced because
Mm.
somebody is sharing in your pain with you. So that,
Mhm.
thank you for the work you do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, awesome. So, question I was kind of personally interested in is, why is having April be Alcohol Awareness Month important?
Yeah, so April being Alcohol Awareness Month obviously has large ties to MAD, given what we do and what we work to prevent. Specifically, this year is even more important than usual. For decades, alcohol has been the leading factor and the #1 cause of roadway deaths
Mm.
here in America.
Mm-hmm.
And 2020 was the first year since 2008 in which we had 11,000 alcohol-related deaths on the
Mm.
roadway. And that is despite NHTSA saying that we traveled 11% less miles than we ever have due to the
Wow.
pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we're traveling less and that alcohol-related crashes are killing more and more people, you know, really furthers the reason why our organization exists. So during April, we also do a program called Power Talk 21, which is a toolkit that we provide to parents about, you know, how to have those conversations with their children about, as they begin to, you know, get tempted or explore alcohol, how to kind of have that conversation about making safe choices.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Well, awesome. We'll talk about all that and more after this break. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain, here with Andreas Ruiz. We'll be right back.
This car care tip is brought to you by MPG Tire and Auto. Your vehicle's brake pads are the most important part for stopping your vehicle. The average lifespan of your vehicle's brake pads is between 2 to 3 years. Stop by any MPG Tire and Auto location and have your brakes inspected for free today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Pep Inc. and MAD. and MPG Automotive, and TIA, and who else? BetterHelp, and Ironwood Dental, and North Star Hyperbaric, and Where Healing Happens Naturally, and Action Print and Copy. And I believe in myself.
I believe in myself, and I believe in you.
Just brought to you by everything in the world. I am Pastor John McLean here with Andreas Ruiz, the most motivational motivator. Right? There we go. And we are here with Amy Bass and Joe, last name again?
Sullivan.
Joe Sullivan,
Yes, sir.
boom, I'll remember it next time. And he's here with Mad of Southern Arizona, and Amy is our reoccurring best friend here on the show with Pep Inc., which it seems like they have a little something of everything. So yeah, I went to the grocery store the other day. I went to grab something out of the deli, and there's someone from Pep. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's impressive with not only the work that Pep does, but then once again introducing us to another partner of theirs that one that we as a community probably don't know about as much as we should know about, and two, a powerhouse. So yeah, thank you, for being here, Joe, and thank you for telling us about the work that you do.
Yeah, thank you again for allowing us to be here and talk a little bit about MAD, because one of the things a lot of people don't know is 2 out of 3 people will be affected by impaired driving at some point in their lifetime.
Wow. So who does MAD primarily serve?
So MAD kind of is focused on 2 programs, one being the prevention side of things, which is of course where we work a lot with Amy, and that's going to be providing education to parents about having those conversations with their kids, and then we'll go to the schools. We were just yesterday at a high school out in Surprise, Arizona actually. They did an assembly where they had a mock crash. They had actors and actresses from their drama class playing out roles as victims of an impaired driving crash, and this was ahead of their prom night to really warn kids about the dangers and consequences of driving impaired. And then beyond that, we provide education to offenders convicted of a DUI, and then, as I mentioned earlier, the victims of these crashes.
Wow.
That's wow. I've never heard anything like that, but that's a really cool and interesting activity.
Yeah, no,
it's like visualization to the nth degree, and really kind of like plan it out. I gotta just imagine, just what I know of visualization, it reduces issues greatly.
No, absolutely. And then when you combine that with, at that high school, we had a victim who ended up losing a leg to an impaired driving crash, and him there sharing his story of how he was personally impacted.
That's powerful.
You could see, the realization on these kids' faces that, there are in fact real consequences to, driving impaired.
That's amazing, and I appreciate that, you showing them what could happen, and especially when you have actors showing you, they catch the emotion, they have the feeling of, wow, that could be one of my relatives or friends. So thank you for doing that for the students.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about how do you know when you have made a difference?
Sure. So that can kind of look a few different ways, but one of the ways that most recently, a story that kind of sticks out in my mind is our victim impact panels, which again are education for people convicted of a DUI, and they hear from a victim who themselves have been impacted in a DUI crash about whether their loved one was killed or they were injured. Recently, I was at a class, and the victim sharing a story was someone who I've worked with for years, and she was telling the story of how she lost her sister-in-law to an impaired driving crash. And following her story and following the class, one of the attendees came up to me, and I realized very quickly that he was also the offender in a case I was working with about a year prior. So I recognized him, he recognized me as being the one sitting with the victim of his crash for 2 years. And he came up to me, emotional, crying, telling him how that was the worst mistake he's ever made, and everything he's learned since then is going to change his life going forward. And what he actually did was ask me to reach out to the victim to see if she would be interested in having a conversation with him.
Mm.
And, I give a lot of credit to her for having the forgiveness and, strength to be able to agree to a conversation with him. But ultimately, the two were able to connect, and I think that, it did a lot for her as it did for him about, knowing for him that he was forgiven, and for her not having that burden of holding on to that anger.
Mm. And what would you say for those who want to get involved is the best way to reach Matt?
So if you want to get involved, if you're impacted in an impaired driving crash, we have a 24/7 helpline, and that's at 1-877-MAD-HELP. Or if you want to get involved, volunteer, are interested in us coming out and speaking to your business or school, you can find all of our contact information on mad.org/Arizona.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
And to you, Amy, tell us about the CPC UAD committee and how people can get involved with that.
Sure. We have the, we call it the UDPC, which is the Underage Drinking Prevention Collaborative. And so we work with a lot of organizations, including MAD. For the month of April, we'll be doing even more ramped up underage drinking prevention. We do the Power of Parents programs, which are a MAD program. And as Joe said, excuse me, teaching parents how to talk to their kids. And I mean, oh gosh, it's just so emotional when I listen and realize the importance of this. I mean, in the prevention, we're handing out locking caps for people's bottles of alcohol so the kids don't get them. We're doing sticker shock at the stores that sell alcohol, reminding them not to buy for minors. We helped pass the social host ordinance, which makes it a class 1 misdemeanor to provide alcohol to minors. And you'll see our bus benches out there running through the month of April, just warning parents. And we do everything we can do to support MAD, because look at what they deal with. I mean, the impact to the community, and I think there should be more MAD in every community. So I just thank Joe for his work and being a partner with the Community Prevention Coalition at PEP.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I guess we got probably about another minute. What are other ways that people can kind of plug in with PEP and get involved with the upcoming stuff you have going on?
Sure. I mean, not only do people drink and drive, but they smoke marijuana and drive. They take pain medication and drive.
Yep.
They're on their phones, texting. So it is really serious. We have posters out there on distracted and impaired driving. People need to pay attention. And if they want to get involved and make a difference in the community, the coalition has about 125 active members, about 25, 30 different organizations showing up to the monthly meetings. They can call 520-205-4781. And
Could you repeat that again? Just to make
sure. 520-205-4781. And that's to the Community Prevention Coalition at PEP.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Amy, Joe, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah,
thank
we
you.
appreciate
Thank
what
you,
do.
John. Thank you, Andres.
You too, yeah. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And my buddy Andres, I want to tell you about I Believe Myself and especially I have going on.
Yeah, if anybody's interested in taking their life to the next level, I'm starting a mastermind called The Blueprint on How to Turn Goals into Achievement, and I will help you create a strategy for that big vision that you've been sitting on for weeks, months, years, and we will also help you overcome that fear, whether it's the fear of success, fear of failure, fear of caring about what people think or say about you. We will help you overcome those fears. So if you're interested in joining a mastermind of like-minded people, send me an email at ibelievecal@gmail.com, and we'll get you started towards that legacy. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. We'll be right back after this.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. We are back and we are ready. I hope you guys enjoyed the first half of the show. We had PEP Inc. and MAD of Southern Arizona here in studio with us. And that was fun.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
definitely always enjoy having Amy here in studio with us. She brought Joe along.
Yeah, Joe was awesome.
Yes, those who don't know, I'm Pastor John McLean, the famous or infamous, depends what circle you hang out with, and I'm here with Andreas Ruiz, who is nothing but famous. Like pretty much anywhere I go, people just sing his praises and they love you. Like, have you ever been disliked by anybody?
Yeah. I have.
Really? It's hard for me to believe because you're just such a loved character. So it's yeah.
I've been blessed to be loved by a lot of people because
Yeah,
I love
sure.
people too. So.
And I say that because another person that actually two people technically that we have here in studio with us that are also characters of that caliber.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
You just
100%.
love them. Like, it's just hard not to love Raymond and Sandra. It just
Oh, yeah.
it just really is. Like, I think from the first second we met them, it was just like, okay, I know God has drawn us to these people. We're supposed to do something special together. Well, I guess he'll explain it to us what it is, kind of like he did with each other.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
yeah, and every time we see him, it's like bumping into a cousin that I haven't seen in a while.
For real. Yeah, it feels like that, man. Like every
Mhm.
time I see Ray, I'm like, man, this dude his energy is something else. Like I
Mhm.
really appreciate your energy, man. So
You guys don't know how much I love you guys. You know, it's all about us having fun and wanting to do whatever's best for community, for ourselves, and keeping people smiling, man. I love it when we're smiling. It makes the day a lot easier.
absolutely,
Mm.
100%.
Every time I see Pastor, you know, I just smile, open my arms up for like 20 minutes for him to come and give me a grab.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
there
I
you
just,
go.
I just love his warmth and love his positiveness.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's, and I want to think, something I learned the other day, and I'm sure you probably all already know it. If you smile for 10 seconds straight, you can convince yourself that you're happy.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know
There's-
what your trick is, Raymond, but
That's
you
it, that's what it
certainly
is. That's what
you're
it is.
about one of the happiest people I've ever seen. So
Yeah, man.
I don't know, what would you account that to?
I really count it to our Lord Jesus Christ. And the fact is that I truly believe that joy is something that you get, that you have.
Mm.
And if you give it away, then that's your fault. Because someone always said that joy is something that you get away. It's yours.
Mm.
No one can take it from you. You have to give it to you. If you have a bad day and you give the joy away, it's because you gave it away.
Mhm.
No one took it away from you.
Mhm.
So my thing is to always remember, and I pray every day, you know, God, remember me, please remind me to keep my joy. Keep my joy no matter what happens. We're going to have bad days. Bad days come all the time. I tell everybody, when you come to work, you come to work two ways. You come to work happy, you come to work sad. But guess what? You're coming to work. So it doesn't matter how you want to do it. So you're going to come to work one way or the other. So I try to
Yeah,
do that,
man.
and I try to help other people understand that. It's just, no matter what you're doing, be the best at it.
Attaboy.
I was talking about when I was volunteering, and they said, well, you know, we're going to have you mop the floors. I said, I don't care. I guarantee you, though, them floors are going to be clean, and they'll be the cleanest mop floors you ever looked at. And he's like, what's wrong with you? I said, it doesn't matter what you have me do. Obviously, I'm there to do something. So whatever it is, I'm going to be 100% of it. I'm not going to give you 50%. And if the floor's not perfect, I'm going to do it again. Every task you have to take it like it's important to you. But what the reason you're doing it for, because that's what everyone says. Everything happens for a reason. And you can't do everything without the little things.
Yeah.
I always told you got to do the little things. The little things make a big difference.
Mm.
But I think I'm talking too much. I'd like my wife to say something.
No, well,
I was
it's
gonna
just,
say, now-
I'm motivated, man. I'm
You're
ready to
just-
run through
you're
this
just
wall, bro.
wasting
Let's
all
go.
all this good time to talk about, you know, what we brought you here for. You know, I guess you guys, you know, made a big switch, a big transition shift in you guys' life over to Indie Realty. So tell us a little bit about what, you know, what that shift was about, and you know, and what brought you over there.
Well, we had an opportunity, and we knew that we were going to be making a change. You know, there's times in your life when you know that you are getting ready to make a change. And we had interviewed a couple of other companies, and the fit just wasn't right. And so we kind of were looking, but not actively looking. The other day I compared it to when you walk into a house and you know this is the one.
Mm.
I've had people walk into the very first house that I've shown them, and they've said, is it crazy if I want to buy this house? And I've said, no, if this is your house, let me tell you, I cannot find this house again in Tucson because it was special. And when we found Indie Realty, we had that feeling. We knew this is where we wanted to be. And so there was no hesitation on our part. And so we're actually very excited to be there. And I'm sure Raymond has some thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, the first thing I like to let everybody know is that our Indie Realty is a local brokerage.
Okay.
That's the important thing, that we didn't go to a big chain. It's a local brokerage. It's from someone else who decided that he wanted to stay in Tucson and he wanted to serve the community. And I believe two things that we came over here for is that what this helps us do is that it gives us more chance to help make a better job for our clients and to help us work with our community. That's one thing that me and Sandra, we try to emphasize a lot, is that our community and our clients. And so because of this move, we might have been a little bit financially helped at that time. But by being financially helped, it allows us to take that financial help and use it towards our clients and for our community to make it better. So we're thinking about doing this. It was such a great opportunity for us to move forward. And the things they were offering us was like the things we wanted to do, and making sure they understood that The important thing to us was our clients and make sure we could serve the community. And I thought that the guy who's running this, our brokerage, John Geis, did a great job of saying, hey, yeah, that's what you want to do. Go ahead and do that, and I'll be back to support you. And that's why we're there. Would you say?
We also think it's really exciting to be part of something new. And, you know, from the get-go, whether it's creating signage or, you know, just being the test people for the software, things like that. And we have a lot of influence in the culture there. And so we're excited about that. We're excited to be influential in that way and to be able to contribute to them and to their success as well as ours, because we have a real estate license. We can take it anywhere. It really doesn't matter where we hang it. We're still, you know, Raymond Smith and Sandra Johnson, no matter where we're at. But to be able to be part of something else and be able to invest in them and in other agents and helping them grow their businesses. We're here to make sure that everyone's successful and that it's a great environment. And I know that, you know, sometimes you run into companies where there are people working where maybe they're just not fun to be around. We don't have that. We have a really great group that are interested beyond just what the paycheck is. They're actually interested in helping improve people's lives. And I really believe in home ownership. I think it really brings a lot of stability into a family, provides wealth that can be passed down to other generations. I think it's a really good financial thing for people to do, and it opens new doors for them. And so that was just part of what brought us in and made us excited about Indy Realty.
Well, cool. Well, we will talk about all that and a whole lot more after this break. It's the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. If you haven't been to veteranrescuemission.org to find out information about the show, please check it out, as well as all the work we do to connect homeless veterans with housing. We'll be right back right after this break.
The primary teaching mechanism at Tucson International Academy will continue to be in person, in classroom, as this is the best method for most of what your child needs to learn, and what has dramatically contributed to Tucson International Academy's record of 100% of their seniors being accepted for college. Call Tucson International Academy today at 230-3828 or go to TucsonInternationalAcademy.com to provide your child with the greatest possibility of reaching the next level.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Indy Realty.
Okay, we're paying.
I just felt money leave my pocket.
I'm Pastor Joe McClain, here with Andreas Ruiz of I Believe in Myself Coaching. We are here to motivate each other and motivate you, right?
Absolutely.
You guys have a tagline like I Believe in Myself Coaching.
Confidence, action, legacy.
That's it. And we're here with two very motivational people that I look forward to listening to their radio show, teaching me all about real estate and all the ins and outs of that I need to know about my home ownership. Right? So that's great,
That's the whole goal. That we want is to sit there and not even if you have a home right now, there's still some things you can do to make it better when it's time for you to sell. Or if you just want to live there, little things you can do. There are a lot of people out there who want to help you and who wants to sit back and make your life better. And our goal is to try to connect you guys with those people so that we all win. If everybody's winning, then this world is a better place. So make sure we're all winning.
That's awesome. So Raymond, tell us, what differentiates Indy Realty?
First thing I think of is freedom. It allows us to focus, we believe, not saying that our last realtor brokerage wasn't doing this, but we think we get more say in how we can approach our clients, how we can advertise to them, the ways that we do different things that make us feel comfortable and not being bogged down by so many rules and regulations. There are so many rules that you do have for real estate. We understand those, but I think they give us the freedom to go and go talk to our clients in a certain way, go approach them in a certain manner, and being able to be the best we can possibly be for the clients. It's all about them and making sure that they feel comfortable. Once they're comfortable, then we're happy. I always tell them, if you're not happy at any time during this process, then I'm doing something wrong. I don't even care if you went for 10 houses, didn't get them all. I'm gonna find a way to make sure that you understand that. That's the way it's supposed to go sometimes.
Mhm.
Life is not going to be predictable. It's going to be unpredictable.
Mm.
But you need to understand from our standpoint is that our job is to make sure that this process is something that you remember as a good process when you go on. So that when you think about us and you think about real estate, you're thinking about us. And we live on referrals. So if I'm making your day good and I keep your day being good, then I'm hoping that you remind me, that you think about me when someone says, hey, I'm want to sell real estate. And even if you think of Sandra, I'm okay with that because we're a team. So as long as you think of one of us, I'm good.
I get it.
What do you have to say, Beth?
Yeah.
You left me speechless.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I don't know what to say after
Well, I
that.
guess what you could kind of speak to, Sandra, is what is the last time we had you on a few months ago for the first time, we were talking about the market, and it was a crazy market. As we got the market really started getting wild and crazy kids. What's it looking like now?
It's still crazy.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed. I was thinking about it, like, how do you talk about our market? Because we do have an inventory shortage. And you hear a lot about prices going up and people getting these great deals, when they go to sell. It's because we have a shortage of inventory. And I was thinking of those promotions at Christmas, when you've got a product you want and there's a limited supply. You're willing to sit in line overnight, bring your tent, hang out with your friends, right? We could do that.
Yeah.
And if you're the first one in line, you might get what you're looking for. But in real estate, it's all about not who's first in line, it's who's willing to pay the most. So it's more of an auction feeling, let's say.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's not technically an auction, although that is possible. But when you write an offer, you're probably competing with other offers. And so writing an offer that someone's willing to pick you, because it's again, it goes back to those gym days when there was a line up there and one person got picked first, right? Well, you want to be that person. And so there's a lot of cash in our market, and people that are moving from other places, they're able to work from home now. So maybe they don't want to live in a big city where, there's a lot of political stuff going on or the climate's not as good as ours. And so if they purchased, a home in the last 5 years, they may have a lot of equity. And so when they come into our market, they may have a lot of cash. And so, competing against that, you have to be really pretty aggressive in the way you approach your offers that you're writing. So for sellers, different ballpark. It's how do I weed through the offers and pick the right one, the one that's, someone didn't write kind of under duress, if you will. I have to make a decision in 12 hours and, am I going to write a good enough offer? And then they get the house and they're like, what did I just do? So we want to pick someone an offer that has a good chance of closing. And so that's kind of the market that we live in right now.
Yeah, I like that. And the thing that I would like to also say is that don't be afraid. What we're getting into is everything is going to be, the change is, and not knowing things that makes you afraid. Don't be afraid. You have good people out there who are looking out for your interests. And because you didn't write the highest price doesn't mean you don't get the house. We've had a lot of people when these houses, and their price wasn't the highest. It was the other things, the other ancillary things around that their contract stated or that their offer offered. That's what my wife is good at, is sitting there understanding what is the best thing we can give to this seller that'll make them appreciate the fact that the buyer we have is the person you want to get the house for. So it's not only understanding the market, but it's also understanding the seller and the buyer and what they can and cannot do and how we bring them together. Our job to try to bring them together for the common good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and then for sellers that are like on the edge, they're kind of like, I don't know if I should do this. Like, what tips would you give them? Like maybe 2 to 3 tips to help them, not be scared or.
And my first thing is just think and come talk to us and let us give you all the information that we can possibly give you. And I'm all about information. I tell everybody, we have nothing to hide. We'll tell you everything, our percentages, everything. Here's everything you need to know, and then make an informed decision. Because if you make an informed decision, you'll be happy later on. If I'm trying to just get you to sell your house because I want the money, then in 5 years from now you wish you hadn't done that. Then I didn't do my job. Because when you become a client of Raymond and Sandra, you're a friend. You're there for the long haul, not from the beginning all the way to the end. 5 years from now, we want to know if you have kids. We want to know what's going on with them. We're going to stay in contact with you because we care about you once you get into that home. We're not afraid of the house we sell you or if we sold your house. We're not afraid of the process they went through because we know we did everything we possibly could to get you the best price or to get you the house at the best price we could.
And the question I had on my sheet was, where's the good deal in the market right now? But even better question that I have than that is, and this one's for my buddy Andreas here. You know, let's say you're on the fence about selling your house right now, but you've been hearing about all this yummy stuff in the market where your house may be worth twice, what you bought it for. What would you suggest to somebody who's in that position?
I think you have to look at what your motivation is. And, for some people, say someone who's later in life, they may be able to sell that house and cash out and start over again. So when I say later in life, my mom's 85. So she recently sold and she started refinancing, or basically starting over with their finances. So she's got a 30-year mortgage. She's 85 years old. How's she going to pay for that? Well, they can't discriminate against her age. So she has a mortgage that's 30 years. So she has a monthly payment she can afford because she cashed out on her other home. The other nice thing is she moved closer to family. So we're able to help pitch in and take out the trash or pick up groceries, whatever we need to do. But that nest egg gives her a lot of comfort now that my dad's no longer here and her income has gone down. Gives her a lot of comfort knowing that she has that nest egg and she can afford those payments. So there are different motivations that bring people to that place. And so I think you have to sit down and count the cost, look at your benefits, and then ask yourself, what am I going to do if I do cash in on that equity? What am I going to do with that? And everyone's motivation is a little bit different and where it takes you. And so I think that going through the process and asking the question will give you the answers.
And that's what we come in for. That's what I was trying to say. That's what we're good at doing, is that you give us we can give you the facts. We can give you the facts. Hey, here's how much you possibly can cash out of your house. Here's how much you owe. We'll do the numbers for you. Where do you want to live at? Things like that. Do you want to stay in Tucson or are you moving? Those are the kind of things you have to think about also. And then we will give, I think we can give you a basic foundation on here's the information. Here's the facts of the information. Now you go sit back and think about it and then give us a call and then we will talk you through everything and then help you make a decision. One thing I like to let everybody know in the real estate world, our job is not to make the decision for you. Our job is to give you information so you can make an informed decision. And when you make that informed decision, you will feel so comfortable. But if you want us to guide us, we will guide as much as we can, but we will not make the decision for you. We believe that decision, and this is one of the biggest decisions you make in selling or buying a house, we want to make sure that you are making a decision and that it's the most informed decision you can possibly have.
I like that.
Right.
Good stuff.
So how can people get a hold of you if they're looking to sell their house or looking to buy a house?
Come to the Sands Club. I mean,
There are more efficient ways than Raymond at the Sands Club. You can reach me at 520-850-1725 or
Say it one more time.
520-850-1725 or Raymond at 520-904-7711. Also, real estate agents want to be found. You actually could Google Sandra Johnson or Raymond Smith in Tucson and you'll be able to find us.
Nice. Nice. And then I'm guessing indie-realty.com.
Indie-realty.com.
Okay.
We'll bring you to the website and we have our bios up there as well.
Nice.
You can set up a home search or find out the value of your home on the website.
Nice. Well, awesome.
And we're also going to give you that personal touch. I want everybody to understand. That's one thing we think we're about is giving a personal touch to whoever we deal with. And that's the most important thing to us is you. Y-O-U.
Yeah, and definitely, I mean, having, being friends and getting to be around Raymond and Sandra, if you are out there and you're in the market or you're thinking about being in the market and you have the good fortune to have either one of these two people or both these people representing you, lucky you. So go ahead and
Absolutely.
give them a call, get connected. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Pastor John McLean, Andreas Ruiz, veteranrescuemission.org. We'll see you next time. God bless.